Hello YouTubers. I got my YouTube shirt on, so it's time to do YouTube. Okay. Alright. It is July 30th, 2020. I'm still in Boston. Okay. Instacart, the hours didn't work out, so I'm done with Instacart. PetSmart, I'm still with PetSmart. Called the dental clinic today, left a message. I think they're still closed. I am gonna start writing lesson plans. I'm gonna try to start that on a daily basis. Tinker with that. Maybe get to the point of doing it 2 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever, but yeah. Whatever. The Instacart thing. Okay, there is a rule of thumb. Never criticize a previous employer. Right? Okay. Now, if you really got bad stuff to say about a previous employer, don't say anything, because you'll never be hired again. So, that caveat out there. Should you trust anyone when they talk about a previous employer? Maybe not. I don't know. But if you're a boss and a previous employee was bad mouthing you know this person's gonna bad mouth you if they didn't like working for you. Would you hire that person? I wouldn't. So if I really had really bad stuff to say about Instacart, I wouldn't have mentioned it at all. Okay, the hours didn't work out. Will I ever work for them again? I don't know. I'll probably try it out. You know, if the situation, if I needed the hours, would I try to see if they, the situation's now better or whatever? Yeah, I would. But at this point in time, my particular set of circumstances, the hours didn't work out. And the aggravation of one job is enough to deal with, and whatever. So dealing with your one job and dealing with your own living situations, conditions, whatever. So I already have one job. I already have all this to deal with and all that kind of stuff. Do I need? No, I don't need the aggravation. So if it wasn't working out, will I try Instacart again if I feel the situation calls for me needing more hours? Yes, I would. Okay. Because if it works out well, it's pretty good. So at this point in time, too many people competing for too few hours. So, So that's in this particular store, this particular set of circumstances. Does that vary? Of course it varies. So, because if it was really a terrible thing and you should never, I wouldn't mention it. Because again, do not badmouth a previous employer. You will never be hired again. And understandable. I certainly wouldn't hire anyone if I knew they were gonna. Okay, so if you got something bad about to say, keep it to yourself. Just don't bring it up. So yeah. Am I telling people they should not work for Instacart? Actually, I think you probably should try it, because like I said, if it works out well, it's pretty darn good. Just in my particular, yeah, it didn't. So well, I got enough aggravation. So yeah, all right. Okay, so I'm still with PetSmart. Does that mean you can't trust what I said about? That's a valid question. whatever misgivings or likes or dislikes you have about your work environment and the individuals you deal with, it has nothing to do with how the way a company is set up, you know, the company as a whole. So, you know, if I really had, I wouldn't have mentioned. If so, okay. Take everything with a grain of salt. All right. Personally speaking, if I thought PetSmart was like an evil place, I wouldn't be still be working there, and I wouldn't even have mentioned it, because unless you're independently wealthy, it's a good rule of thumb: do not criticize previous employers. That's a pretty good, right? If you stop and think about it, that makes sense. Who's going to hire you? Like I said, I wouldn't hire anyone if I knew they're going to, you know, have that tendency to so yeah, just don't mention it. If your previous employer is really rotten, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. Don't. And if you can possibly find anything positive to say about it, say it. But better yet, don't even bring it up. We'll never be hired again. Yeah, so yeah, it doesn't matter how in the wrong they were and how in the right you were. That's irrelevant. So, okay. All right, that's enough of that. So, yeah, starting to get back into, you know, lesson planning and all that kind of stuff. The videos, you know, and video channels and all that kind of stuff. It's so iffy. Hopefully you personally are getting something out of the information you're giving. Because if not, you need to stop and think about it, because you may or may not be able to make anything, get any kind of tangible advantage out of your efforts. So first and foremost, are you now getting anything out of the context you're presenting? Because then you've got to do the whole social media thing and the way the algorithms are set up. And yes, you should learn about at least the basics about editing. In my case, it's how to take separate clips and, you know, what software to use to connect them, and changing the canvas size, and you know, eventually even trimming things to get specific. And that's, to me, that's advanced editing, because I think I would first pull up the sometimes you have the option of having a transcripts play out or something. I've heard about that, but since the options you're given on a mobile or tablet are different than the options you have on a laptop or computer, I really don't know what the options are, all the options are. So maybe I have to wait until I'm back in Vietnam, where everyone has Wi-Fi and YouTube isn't blocked, so I can use my laptop more freely and really explore all the options you have when you're using a computer and not just a mobile device or a tablet, whatever. I really don't know what's out there, because this place has really made it a task to do anything. So I don't know. But I may just redo videos that, for whatever reason, I got a lot of extra information that I didn't You know, I just throw things all together, really. Again, this is benefiting myself more than anything else, which again is good, because you never know, right? And someone may just close you down if they don't like your context, or for whatever reason they consider it too, I don't know, controversial. And nowadays that's about just about everything. So if you don't fall in line with your government's agenda, whatever agenda that may happen to be for that day or week or quarter, you can be gone just like that. So, hopefully the context you are presenting has benefits to you, if no one else. Learn the basics. This is my lighting, which I put a tissue over because this thing is really powerful. Okay, so this is without the lighting. This is with the lighting, and this is with the lighting with a piece of tissue over it. You may want to turn it a bit on to the side so it's not right in your face kind of thing, but whatever. It's going to be reflected in glasses, but that's life, right? So, and the headphones. Okay, I've got these. Right? These headphones with a microphone that they, recommend and all that kind of stuff. Did a little audio test the other day. I found no difference whatsoever. I don't know. It's good. It's a good headphone, right? If you don't want to bother people around you. Beautiful. As a headphone. As a microphone, I found no difference with or without the headphone. The only practical purpose I can do is a dress code kind of thing. Maybe your employer, if you're doing things online, requires this. Maybe to just give them a more professional reputation, because there's no difference. The microphone that's built into the computer that picks up your sound is, maybe if it's a real expensive headphone thing with the whole, maybe that actually has but if you're bargain basementing it, the microphone, it's just aesthetic. Now, if you have to meet someone's dress code, because I don't see any darn difference. But the headphones, the headset works. If you don't want to bother people around, that works. The microphone, no. It's just there for show. So if you're doing stuff online and your boss or whatever it is, the company you're working for requires it, it's a dress code issue, not an audio issue, because maybe the expensive kind actually this makes no difference at all. But the headphones work. So, just not to disturb your neighbors if you're watching videos or whatever, that's fine. Seems very unprofessional, but you know what? Yeah. Again, maybe the expensive kind. There's an actual difference. The cheaper ones, it's a dress code issue. Alright, yeah. So anyway, yeah, so I got the lighting, wardrobe issues, hair days. If you're a hermit and you're really clueless about how to be presentable, all I can say is brush your hair every day. Brush your hair before you go on video. just in case you hadn't noticed. But you know, just running your fingers through it or whatever, trying to may or may not get your hair behaving itself. But I don't know. If your hair's too dry, it's going to be all over the place. If it's not dry enough, it's still going to look messy. And I mean, if it's too oily, it's going to look messy. So no fancy products, just regular shampoo. Just don't overdo it so your hair is sticking out, you know, all dried up. And brush your hair before you go on video, you know, because that's all really is. Of course, if you're a hermit and you don't ever think about being presentable, you know, you're not in a work environment where you're expected to look professional or whatever, you may never even have thought about it. But regular shampoo, not too much, because everything fuzzes up if your hair is dried out. And brush your hair, and believe me, that's probably all you need to. And trim it, right? Because it's growing all over the place. So regular shampoo, nothing expensive. Brush your hair. That's it. As far as equipment is concerned, the only other thing is, you know, editing software. My personal preference, InShot. I find it the easiest to use for what I do. So, I don't know. I never intend to get too fancy about it. With any luck, I don't have to use it at all, but if I really made a mess out of things, didn't clear storage, so I keep on getting cut off, or didn't for whatever reason, I forgot I have to hold the tablet horizontally instead of vertically, so you're just left with this this sliver of film. The lighting is so terrible. Actually, I haven't done that yet, but would that be my next? I don't know. No, well, not this lighting, but yeah, when you're moving around. Anyway, okay, the social media, the things they tell you to do to up your viewing numbers. Yeah, again, it's so haphazard. If you're too controversial, they're going to take your platform away anyway. Yes, focus on context. If you can't get away from making mistakes, you need some kind of editing software. Or try to make it so you don't need any editing at all. That's obviously the best way to go. Lighting. You do need the lighting, but it can be dealt with very affordably. This was, how much was this? 10, 15? Less than 15, right? And it is very glaring, so I got a piece of tissue I put over it. So, yeah, whatever. Headphones, forget about the headphones, unless you can afford really, I don't know, top of the line, but certainly not as cheap as I buy. So, no, cheap light fixture. Brush your hair. So, pants don't matter, but you may have to think about the shirt a little bit. Not too much, unless you really want to. Social media. There's only one show I like to comment about, and not always, because the host does get into a rut. So it's just, unless I've got plenty and plenty of time and just, but I don't know, sometimes I have the time, sometimes I don't. Anyone else? I'd like to know what Elon is up to, since too many people are making sure this planet is uninhabitable. So, just a little side note in the back of my mind, it's nice to know someone's working on a plan to get here. So that's just idle curiosity. See what if the species is still going to be around. Because you open your eyes, you certainly wonder if that's the case. Doesn't look like it. But anyway, commenting on one program. Elon only does Twitter and Instagram, as I understand. Anything else would really have to be something practical, like housing, Hanoi housing kind of thing. And then Facebook has, you know, these groups that, whatever, yeah, real estate stuff. So, housing in Hanoi kind of thing is, I think, the search thing I did to pull up these groups. And when I'm there, it'd probably be food, right? Once I get there. So housing and food in Vietnam. That's the groups I would focus on. One program I comment on, idle curiosity about Elon. There's not too much fan groups. I like Big Bang, so I've joined a couple of those. But right there, that's when you have just way loads of extra time, leisure time. So that's how social media is coming together for me. So that's really not. Do the description, work on your descriptions, work on your titles, work on your thumbnail photos. My descriptions really need some serious work. But yeah, I still have to go back and see what videos are worth editing or redoing, because I'll change Tesla, the video I have on Tesla, and my Hanoi. I've already changed a series of Hanoi videos, put them together, connected them. So Hanoi, I don't know what else other videos I actually bother editing. There are a bunch of videos I'm going to mark as private. All my test videos, all the stuff I did for editing, to see, you know, just which device to use, whether my laptop, my tablet, or my mobile, all that kind of stuff. The audio tests, what size canvas I should be using, all that's going to be I'm going to start putting that all down as private. So I've got to go back and change it from public to private, decide which ones are worth editing, work on descriptions. But as far as running around and posting stuff just to get your name out there to boost your viewing numbers, I don't see me doing that. No. But yeah, I'm gonna work on the context, sure. The networking stuff. No, I'm just, yeah. You've really got to like that kind of stuff to just focusing on promotion. You know, you're working on context, you're working on descriptions, unless you really like promoting yourself. The other stuff. Because again, your platform could be taken from you at any time if someone says it's too controversial, right? So that's a lot of work for nothing. Yeah. So, yeah. Alright. You know, if you enjoy it, fine, knock yourself out. If you don't, what the heck? So, yeah, I'm just going to focus on context and that kind of stuff. I don't enjoy the promotional part of it, so if that's what, yeah, not going to happen. So, I guess that's the update. Okay. I'm going to turn it off now because this is part of it. I'm going to have to learn how to edit once I start really tinkering and refining this stuff. And I don't want to. I'm lazy like that. Talk to you later.